Happy Sunday, beautiful people. Welcome to the Jaden Show. I am your host, Jaden Cornelious, and have I got a super special guest ready to be introduced to you. OMG, you are gonna love the super special guest on today's show. Singer, songwriter, wellness coach, teacher, Reiki master, radio TV presenter. I mean, the woman is amazing. It's incredible. Her name's Vix from 80s Supergroup, Fuzzbox. You are going to meet her in a minute. But do you know what? We need to step back in time a little bit, because I think we need to watch a couple of Fuzzbox videos. Now, the first one is Rules and Regulations. The second one is actually my favorite, Pink Sunshine. Oh my God, such a tune. And then we will continue the show. So sit back and enjoy some great music. How amazing, how amazing. Now, you know it's time for a Jaden Show commercial break. If you have any questions about today's commercial break, please message me and let me know. We're going to go meet Vix very soon. Well, you've been very patient, and so have I, quite frankly. It's time to introduce you to the Jaden Show incredible special guest this week, the amazing Vix. Oh my goodness, Vix, welcome to the Jaden Show. How are you, lovely lady?
Oh, thank you. I'm really, really good and very, very happy to be speaking to you. I think there's a bit of a kindred spirit thing going on here, so that's lovely.
I reckon so. And I'm loving your little Miss Sunshine t-shirt. If I was a leader and a lot slimmer, I'd be teething that off you by the end of the day. I really like that.
I'll send you. I've got quite a few little Miss things. I had some from my family for Mother's Day. I've got little Miss.
Mate,
I don't know, sparkles and whatever.
With my belly, I'll never get in it, but it's super. Yeah, that wouldn't. Should be like that. Should have like the widest grin where she was stretched if it were. You
could have Mr. Greedy or something.
That's probably better. That's probably actually no, because I'm trying to downsize my taco intake. So yeah, but anyway,
yeah, don't encourage. Yeah,
beautiful Blighty. Whereabouts in this big wide world are you?
Well, I'm a Brunoy, which is from Birmingham, not Alabama, of course. Birmingham born and bred, but we moved out about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, to Shropshire, the middle of the countryside, and it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, I can kind of just about see yellow rapeseed fields and the Wrekin right in the far distance and all the mountains. It's really beautiful.
Good
so
doing what you're doing.
Very nice.
Good place to be doing what you're doing, because obviously I've been internetally stalking you and finding out what you've been up to, quite frankly, little Miss Sunshine, and you are one busy ass woman, quite frankly. I've never had a list of
half of what I do either.
I've got like lists of social media stuff, so we have to talk about Fuzzbox, because Pink Sunshine was one of my favourite songs. So
oh really?
Yeah, I was playing it one morning. I'm like, oh my god, this is such a tune! I bloody love it. But we also need to talk, because not are you like, you know, international pop legend, but also you're like a music mentor, a well-being coach, a Reiki master, a teacher, radio TV presenter. I mean, like, there's pretty much nothing you haven't done, quite frankly.
There's not a lot. I was going. Do you know? I've even done awful jobs like selling haulage. Can you imagine how rubbish I was at selling haulage? I've done quite a lot of waitressing. I was a sandwich lady at one point.
Nice.
This was all after my pop stardom as well. Yeah, man. So, but yeah, I like doing lots of different things. Too much really, because I end up just juggling so much, but it's fun. Well, that's why I like it.
I found that in Mexico, normally people say just focus on one thing, and normally you can have like another string to your bow and kind of get away with that. Here I have to have the whole bloody orchestra, because like there is so much you need to, because nothing is guaranteed to work, so you just have to do. So now I just do everything that I enjoy. So like you, I do a lot of kind of a lot of holistic stuff, but also I've written children's book, I do singing, I do tarot reading, I do like I do all my
you're a Reiki master yourself.
Yeah, do that as well. And I say I've got 5 different shows on YouTube, as well as my music, and as well as I also sing 4 nights a week. So it's kind of like I quite enjoy having that kind of spurt of creativity regularly, and not having to concentrate on, well, I just need to be a pop star and that is it now. And it's nice to have different flavors, and different aspects.
I don't know if I could choose now.
Yeah.
Because it's like when I'm doing my happy life, it's my little business, happy life. The stuff for that. So that's things like, I do like chakra balancing with crystals and Reiki and coaching and guided meditations and lots of lovely things like that. When I do that, I think, this is me. Yeah. I'm at peace, and I can give and make people feel better. But then when I'm doing my music, oh god, this is me. I just love it. I can share my life. It's kind of.
Well, we're not just very singular creations. We're multifaceted. No. lots of different tanks that we need to keep topping up all the time, and everything scratches a different itch, right? So it was just, I had a little clinic in where I lived at the other side of Mexico, and so I used to do exactly the same. I called it, because I called it Geiki healing, because it was literally Reiki crystals, and it was obviously chintzy music, and it was beautiful, and I loved I think I got more out of it than some of the clients, to be fair, because just being in that energy, being in that zone was just wonderful for me. But then again, I really yearned to get behind a microphone and sing, because that was another thing. But you've done a lot of singing, mate, because you're only 23 years old, but you've been about a bit musically. It's
amazing, wasn't it, that I was like a teenager in the 80s, yet still
been a teenager. It's wonderful. So that Reiki's working. You are the best example of holistic healing. Completely.
Well, look, it's my Purdy. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was. But, yeah, healthy living as well helps.
Yeah, maybe I need to tag them in this video.
Yes, please do. I'd love to get more. There's such nice drinks. But I think having a really youthful approach, not caring too much, about how people might judge you and those sort of things, and getting out in nature a lot, having good family and good people around you. And as I've got older, and I've managed to be able to, I choose who I'm working with and for, and so you just have good energy people around you, like fellow uplifters, and it makes a world of difference to your life, really.
I find the biggest thing
don't drink too much alcohol, and don't smoke.
Just be as I don't know, just as connected as you possibly can. And I think for me, the biggest thing that I learned was expectations bring disappointment. So I do everything for the love of doing something now, rather than in the hope that something comes of it. Now I just do it because I want to, because I really enjoy it. And I think that, like was talking before the show, that about peace of mind is probably the best gift you can ever give yourself, at whatever cost. I think amazing. But I want to take you back to me.
Yeah, I relate to that. I mean, obviously in like our heyday, when we had even though we had the independent label behind us and did really well, then we had the major label and did it even better. But even then we didn't really have any expectation. We just sort of went along with it. But because I was so young, I was 15 when I was like out being a pop star. And then once it finished, I just assumed that would all kind of happen again. So times after that did get hard, because I didn't know how to, kind of, I don't know, how to navigate it afterwards. I took loads of time out, because I was like, I don't want to everyone, be judged in that way. This seems to be a common theme of mine, and telling me what to do and what music to do and what songs to sing. So I took loads of time out. Of course, when you come back, like, I don't know anyone, and our manager did everything for us because I was a kid. So yeah, I think these days it's just, if I want people to like what I do, I want to share that. It's lovely to appreciate that, and I want to send out, like with my new music, it's a lot of good vibe stuff that's got kind of influence it with things like mental health, I suppose, and well-being and relationships and so on. But I'm not doing it because I'm expecting a chart hit. If I got one, it's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's about the message that you want to give. Before we talk about Buzzfox, I want to talk about Fuzzbox. Pre-Fuzzbox, I want to talk about the real Little Miss Sunshine, Mini Vix. What was going on in kind of your family, your home environment when you were tiny? What music were you surrounded by? Because you came out with pretty, hardcore, punky, kind of vibey, kind of rocky. You weren't coming out and being Sandy from Greece. What was going on around you musically when you were before you got to 15?
Although Sandy from Greece would have been one of my absolute dreams. I absolutely loved, and I still do. I think I might have been born in the wrong era, because I love 50s music. I love Elvis, I love Doris Day and all that stuff. And I really love it. So we were listening to lots of, we're a very music-loving family. We used to have fabulous get-togethers on Boxing Day with all our uncles and cousins and aunts and everyone. We'd have a big sing-along, and my uncle would get out his guitar, his ukulele, we'd all be in harmony. I mean, it was glorious, and we'd put little plays on. We were very, very into all of that. My dad particularly really great music lover, and he'd play everything from like Led Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy, and then he'd be playing Lonnie Donegan. We'd listen to lots of like Motown, maybe a bit of jazz and funk even, or always modern stuff as well. So very, very rounded, really, I think. But even when Fuzzbox started and we were more sort of punky and alternative, which was very much the scene in Birmingham at the time, it was still quite poppy. And when I can still hear lots of sort of 50s, maybe 60s influence in it, lots of harmonies and so on. So yeah, it wasn't a million miles away, really. We were just acting it out in a different way.
Just playing it differently, yeah. But what an amazing foundation musically to have all that eclectic mix. So how, like, you're 15 years old, most people are thinking about, oh my god, maybe I'll get a boyfriend, oh my god, maybe I'll start smoking. You are now a pop star, and an international like pop star. So how did that come about? How was you discovered?
Well, I always wanted to be in like the entertainment business. Like I always wanted to entertain, perform, perhaps act or and sing and stuff. But we basically formed for a laugh. I'd already formed this silly band. I was at a grammar school. Didn't really fit in very well, but and for their concert I'd put together this band, and I'd kind of hoodwinked the lovely music teacher. They were all very posh, but I was like, but not everyone can afford instruments, so could we just use, like we could make our own, we can shake and we can bang. And because they didn't like to sort of say anything different, they kind of went along with it. And then we got up on stage and everyone was playing his violin concertos and kind of solo singing, and we got up and I started off sort of doing it like classical solo, twinkle twinkle, like twinkle little, and they went, I don't play violin, and they did not know what the hell hit them. And the whole school was stamping and screaming. They'd never had it before. Amazing. So I knew I was going to go and do something like that, within like months after that. And then we formed Fuzzbox for a laugh, did the gig. Well, we only put the songs together and the band together the afternoon, literally before we got the bus to the first gig. We only had 3 songs that we cobbled together. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't care. And then we were signed up at our second gig by a local label, and off we went. John Peel, and then before we knew it, it was Top of the Pops and everything else.
Yeah, that's incredible. What a story, mate.
Yeah. When people sort of say, asking advice, like, well, tell me how you got, give me some advice as to how I should get into the music business. You think, well, our story's a bit bonkers. But you know what? We were different. We were really different.
Yeah.
And at the time, we were doing it just for fun. We were doing it for the love of what we did. We didn't, weren't sort of being ultra serious. And we were, at the time, there was a lot of shoegazing, male bands all in sort of grey or black and very serious. And we were just like, people used to say, a breath of fresh air. Yeah. We're wearing just clothes that we'd cobbled together, or my mum used to help me make, and bits from the rag market and bits of net and tinsel. And we just whacked it all together, really colourful. And I think people were just like, wow, this is so different.
How did your family...
So different, but unique, be yourselves.
Because at 15 years old, quite young and quite an intense industry. How did your family deal with this? Especially the parents.
Well, my family were fabulous. My dad was a headmaster, and very quite, sort of well respected and well known. And because he worked in very difficult schools, so he wasn't all about you must still achieve high academically. Great if we had. My 2 sisters above me were very academic, but he just thought, he knew what I'd always been like and what I'd always wanted to do. And he's like, well, look, try it for a year, and if not, you can go back to education. He was fantastic. He was much more about take the opportunity. So he was very supportive, and mum was as well, absolutely great, and my 2 sisters and brother were. The other parents were more reticent about doing it and were worried. I mean, Maggie, who was 5 years older than us, because 2 of them were sisters, she could make her own choices anyway. But I think the fact that my dad, who was a respected headmaster, sort of said, go for it. And just did his best to make sure we weren't signing our lives away or whatever. Amazing. But I was
Did you ever, obviously, like you're on a, you're riding the wave, and obviously one of the, if not the most successful girl bands that actually play instruments in the country or the world, you tell me, like, where?
Well, apparently, Buzzfox are still the UK's most successful all-girl band that play their own instruments.
Wow, that's super incredible.
I know. Do you know what though? Because we found this out. I think it was back in 2010, so we decided to do a reunion to sort of celebrate that, and we all went out and did it. But part of me was like, "This is great! Wow, I'm so proud!" And I was like, "I'm really annoyed because we thought." Where are you all? What the hell? We thought, well, for a start, we didn't realise we were all girls, if you know what I mean. We were just like, we just did it. And then people would say, so, journalists would be like, so why are you all female and why are you all girls? I remember the first time we literally looked at, oh yeah, I hadn't really thought about it. It wasn't a plan. We weren't manufactured. But we thought, oh, loads of girls must be doing it. Or we're part of a crest of a wave. And we hoped, well, we did inspire a lot of people at the time, but I mean, there's more female musicians than there were, and there's some fantastic female bands and female musicians out there. But yeah, it's partly disappointing because there should be more. But I'm sure that title will get taken off us anytime soon.
Well, it'd be good on some level that it does because it's all about other people. I had exactly the same story as you because I was in a pop R&B band signed to BMG in the 90s, and it was 2 white guys and 2 black girls, and we were, I think it could have even been Capital, I can't remember, but we'd just done a road show and we were being interviewed, and it was like, so what's it like being a mixed race band? And we were like, yeah. But I don't know because like it's Nat and Elaine and Steve and they're my besties, so I didn't even see colour. However, the industry at the time said you need to get another white person into that band, otherwise you're never going to make it. So there was such, it was obviously race was a huge thing in the early 90s, mid 90s.
It was, I remember.
But to us, we didn't even. Shit, yeah, we're all different coloured skin. It was just like I was the palest, and it kind of went up in skin tone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't. I get you.
And actually, the 2 girls were from Birmingham. The 2 girls.
Elaine
was from Grey Bar, and Elaine Morris and Natalia Roney, who was on CBeebies. She was actually she was in a band with Victoria Beckham pre-Spice Girls, but yeah, she was from Birmingham City.
Oh,
Steve were from London. Well, he was from
nice.
I was from London. Yeah, but yeah, we didn't even realise. We were like, crazy. So how long did Fuzzbox last for? How long did you reign? What was it like? What was the deciding factor that kind of brought that to an end at that time?
Well, 85 is when we started, and then really by kind of 91 it was all pretty much over. So we'd done 2 albums, we're working on a 3rd, but it became very difficult because when we started we all just into that sort of Birmingham alternative scene, which we liked a lot of the same music and so on. But as time went on, we all started to kind of go into our different ways musically, and we really struggled to write together. A lot of it, although people found it bizarre because Fuzzbox weren't seen as being very musical, because we did that kind of the DIY punk thing, didn't we? And formed on the day of the gig and learned to play at the gigs mainly. But really, a lot of it was musical differences. And in those days, they wouldn't let you sort of mix genres. I mean, now I look back and I think, God, I wish somehow we could have just gone like, bugger to, we're going to do it. But I'd say things like, well, I really like, lots of harmonies and some softer vocals and pretty vocals, but with, maybe some danceable kind of drums and maybe like some crunchy guitars. And they'd be like, no, which one do you want to do? Yeah. Like, well, a bit of rock, a bit of pop, a bit of... and it was unbelievable, the wall that you hit. I mean, I'm sure people, I guess people did, but I don't think they did. It was just impossible, and on maybe it was a major label.
It was blasphemy musically. We were doing pop R&B, and we wanted to put like a saxophone or something in there.
No, yeah,
that's not what you're doing. But you're doing pop, and it's still pop. No, but it's not your sound.
Yes. It was really pigeonholed, wasn't it? They wanted you.
Absolutely.
Decide what box you're going to fit into. You
I
know?
think that's gone up almost until COVID time, even until recently. Speaking to other musicians, I think COVID showed the fragility of that industry, and people just like, fuck it, I'm doing what I want to do. You know,
Yeah.
so I
And you
think
can, because people can self-release so easily now.
yeah,
I guess they can do what the hell they're like anyway, really. But I mean, also in truth, like I always loved being a pop star. I loved sitting in the studio for hours and hours and hours and hours, even when I was doing nothing, and I could just hear the engineer clicking at that again and again. I loved it. I loved writing the songs. I loved the videos. I was quite happy to do a photo shoot for 8 hours. I just loved it all. Obviously, there were a lot of stressful parts of it and tiring things as well. But whereas I think the other three, they weren't as like sort of naturals. They weren't. That's not what their plan had ever been to sort of go into it. So I think they were finding it a lot hard as well.
are they still in music, or are you the only one still?
The one Maggie is her sister Jo passed away quite a while ago, and then Tina, who's the drummer, and we started to hang out again, which is just absolutely lovely. So we might do something together. But no, she did. She was always into sort of art, and she went off and was an art teacher and an artist.
Wow.
Yeah, so
What would you say was the highlight of that era for you? What would have been the most magical where you thought, shit, this is really happening?
I mean, right, Top of the Pops. You just can't knock it because it was such a huge thing, and I know the youngsters probably half of them haven't even heard of it apart from on the radio. And Glastonbury, amazing, 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 because it was proper hippie fest then. You could leave anything anywhere. But the best time probably for me was actually when we went to Japan, because I think it was the first time I didn't feel too homesick. And I loved Japan, and I loved the culture and the people. And I was just like, wow, like, let's go to a shrine, and like, I could stay here. So then but that was towards the end then. It was like we were sort of, but yeah, all fantastic times, great experience.
What happened afterwards then? Kind of after Fuzzbox and to coming up to date with what you're doing now. What's been going on for the life of Vix?
Lots of different bands. I've done lots of different sorts of music. I mean, some of it's been like relatively successful. Like I had Vixen and the Mischiefs, which was an Americana all-girl band, which was lovely. I mean, in a way, it's a shame because another Fuzzbox reunion happened in like 2016, 2015. And so I had to kind of side project that for a bit. And then that kind of fell by the wayside. And actually, that was doing pretty well. And they were great people. But still, then there was Vixen and the Kicks, which was another all-girl sort of punky poppy rock band. We had something like 7 different lineups. And this was one of the problems with these all-girl. I think it's just a band thing as well. I don't think it's necessary because it's all girls. Just haven't, someone who'd like go off to uni or just not want to do it anymore or get pregnant or it could be anything. And the times I had to just keep replacing it. And in the end, you're like, enough.
Just do it myself. Just do it myself. Yeah.
But I've done quite a lot of radio and TV presenting. I really got into, I remember feeling quite lost, like what I was going to do. And I was playing a gig in Birmingham and I saw all these young people getting up and they were like rapping and dancing and singing and doing their own music. And I was like, hold on. What is this? What is going on? And they said, oh, it's like community music. And I was like, I'd never heard of it before. What is it? So I was like, I need to find out what this is because I need to work with these sort of people. All these lovely young, like school children and teenagers and, really, some of them are really rough, but just giving it so, and I loved it. So I found out who it was. Who was like running this organisation, got in with them. I had an interview like the next sort of a couple of days later, and that was it. I went off doing that. So I loved that because I felt, God, I can do something passing on. Because I thought I had no skills. I was like, I can't do anything. All I've done is been a pop star. What can I do? I don't know what to do.
One of the most successful women in pop, and I can't do anything. I've just got no skills. You got skills, sister. Bloody hell. But I know what you mean.
I did lots of that sort of stuff, work doing music, and I still do. I sometimes work in schools, but I work with quite a lot of all different ages actually. But I'm quite good with teenagers because I remember how nuts that was, and so I do workshops, and we're going to quite a lot of mental health hospitals and work, particularly with teenagers, and we use music as a tool to sort of write songs and express themselves, which is a beautiful thing. And I've got my little Zen den here. It's a bit messy. Got all my things. So I have clients here as well. Or I go. Oh, she's under my under my chair, right up against my ankles.
She's not on the sofa. Where's she gone? That's the dog parent in me. I'm like,
where's Foxy?
He's behind the green screen on the bed. Bless him. So what's going on for you at the moment? How did you get involved? Obviously kind of punk alternative band, now Reiki master, holistic therapist, and positive guru, I guess, positivity guru. How did a bit different, how did that kind of start taking place within your life?
The well-being stuff,
all the kind of the holistic and well-being stuff.
Do you know, I think I've always been quite interested in things like that, and especially how certain things make you feel, like being in nature, being with people you love, good energy, animals, blah, blah, blah. And what did I start doing? I think the Reiki was one of the very first things I started to do, actually. I just did it, it was all a very cosmic thing, like when you sort of go to drop off some charity, but actually there's a new shop opened and you pop in, and then before you know it, you're signing up to do a Reiki course. And then I was hooked and went on and on doing that. And then I'd do like EFT, which is the tapping, and lots of different little kind of qualifications and training in a lot of those sort of things. Do you know, a lot of it also is related to music, because of course it's frequencies, it's vibrations, it's energy. So I work quite a lot with sound and so on as well. So it all works together. And I think, one of the things I'm really good at is, regardless of all the craziness that happens, is I'm pretty good at being happy. And I really love making other people happy. Sometimes it's harder than others, of course, but that's why I called it Happy Life, because I think, I really want to help other people be happier and find their happy and ways to be happy. There's so many ways, and I like to be able to sort of teach people in a really holistic way. So you've got all the really down to earth practical sort of tools and steps and things that you can do, and your time management and your grounding techniques and and then also, the spiritual side, so that you can link the two. So sometimes I might do a coaching session with someone, then the next time they come I might do a Reiki session, or or sometimes mix it up. And I love that, because I feel like I've got this great big kind of sack of goodies, and it's like, what should we get out today, like magic tricks.
Amazing. Do you find
I want to be of service, I think.
What can I just ask, just randomly, what star sign are you?
Libra. What are you?
Pisces.
Okay.
I would have thought you was Piscean, actually.
I was thinking you might be leaving from the chat we had before we started.
Yeah, no, I was thinking.
I think I am very Libran, all the balancing. But you know what? Librans are pains in the bum, because everyone thinks we're really all into balance and harmony, which we are. But then if everyone's all talking about it all on one side, then Librans tend to play the devil's advocate.
Right.
And go, yeah, but what about this? And so then you throw the spanner in the works and be, to tip the apple cart. So, yeah, it can be like that.
Curse. I'm 100% sure Piscean is a curse, because you feel everything. Yeah. So, as a Piscean, I've suffered mental health for my whole entire life, and it's been my biggest battle, is to keep that equilibrium, which, because for every single star sign, every single human being, keeping that equilibrium is not easy. And probably even less now, I guess, in the current climate of world affairs, right? It's even more difficult to find that beauty in every single day. Yeah. But for me, I've always felt like I've always been in the world, but never part of the world. And that,
not belonging.
So for me, nature, animals, like my best friend was, probably had fur, rather than skin. And like, loved music. My grandmother was my best mate, human
Oh,
wise.
yeah, I was really close to mine.
We were playing kind of, my best game as a kid was just my nan sitting on the step smoking a cigarette, me on the swing singing Olivia Newton-John, ABBA and Brotherhood of Man. That was it was called singing on the swing. Or if it was raining, my bed was a boat and we would do singing on the sea. And literally would be my nan would be
Oh,
on the bed, I'll be singing long ago, high on a mountain in Mexico. 40 years later, I'll be living on a mountain in Mexico. But
yeah. Oh, how
yeah,
absolutely
be careful
lovely.
what you sing when
Yeah, so you need to do lots of grounding and lots of
yeah,
energy
yeah. Whereas I can,
protection.
I'm in a real kind of forest, real oak kind of pine
Yeah,
forest.
forest
There's a lot.
bathing.
But yeah, so positivity, health and well-being, still keeping that music flying. Tell us a little bit about the projects musically that you're doing at the moment.
Well, it's been quite interesting because I was working as a music lecturer at a uni in a university in Birmingham, and me and this one guy is a producer, and he's produced loads of great people like Elvis Costello and Kate Nash and Block Party and In Excess and all sorts of kids, and we should do some, you know how you do. And this went on, and then one time I was like, throw me some stuff over, just send me a few beats or ideas, and because that for me that's really easy. I come up with ideas all the time anyway, but if I hear something, that's like I'm away. So he sent a few things and I sent a few back, and we actually originally I was going to do this mantra album, which I still plan to do, which is more about the chakras and all that sort of stuff
No,
in certain frequencies. So that's on the go as well. But started to write just stuff that was like positive stuff, like, with slogans like I am enough or hashtag be kind. And this started in the pandemic, like the hashtag be kind. It just struck me that like people were just scooping things off the shelves. You'd have this great big strong strapping, chap or a couple or whatever with huge trolley full of blinking bog roll and beans and pasta and whatever. And then you'd see this old dear
yeah,
trundle along. Just all she wanted was flipping like a 4-pack of bog roll and a tin of beans, nothing. And that sort of stuff really like struck me. That's one of the first songs I kind of wrote about. Be kind, in your deeds, and take what you need, and so, and then I wrote one about a lot of it was really uplift, attitude of gratitude, so lots of kind of slogans and themes and built up. Although then suddenly some stuff I started to put some slightly darker bits in as well, because I realized but we're not all just fluff and niceness and happiness and sweetness.
Libran in you coming out.
Well, this is it. I was going to do a whole album of loveliness.
Love, yeah.
Just sweet joy. And then, of course, I had to have this different sort of voice in it. It's almost, well, it is. It's like different characters. So there's one that's really bitchy, it's like, or there's one that's, just really sort of cool. And then there's one that's really silly and, girly. It's just all... it's really, really fun to do. But yeah, there are some sort of darker songs as well, because that's life, that's humanity. And I hope that like the album sort of helps people as well, really. But I decided to release it secretly, which is probably a strange idea. A lot of people are like, why would you do that? I said, because, we said sometimes you just want to do it just for the music's sake. Absolutely. You want to just do it and not necessarily see what happens, but just release the music because it's good. Just do the videos because you think they're fun. And and also I've got to be honest, I didn't want like, you were in Fuzzbox, you should be doing this, or the last project you did was this, how come you're not? I didn't want any judgment. I wanted to be a bit more risky, I think, as well, a bit more brave, and not think what would Vic's Fuzzbox have done or do, but like what would somebody else do, like especially with the ageism and as a woman as well. It's like, well, should you be dressing like that? Should you be wearing stuff like that? Should you be acting like that at your age? It's like I just don't I don't go along with those sort of stereotypes. And so I decided to do a project called Buzzfox, instead of Fuzzbox.
Yeah.
So which is really fun. But yeah, kind of people have started to, you know, go, hold on, this is you, or they've commented saying, oh, I love your thing, Vix. It's going to be like
Incognito.
That's going to be like a whole other artist that nobody got. But originally, I did think that, you know, I'd be look completely different, and it's just so hard to maintain anyway to look completely different. Because I had pink hair and originally, you know, a few months ago. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm going to carry on and do it anyway. I've got a whole album's worth, and then loads more to come. And
Well,
I think it's good. I'm really proud of it.
Maybe some of the Fuzzbox fans, you know, are going to cross over and listen because it's you, because it's Vix, and you're going to appeal to a different audience as well. You're going to get, and then maybe they'll be like, yeah, she was in Fuzzbox, so I'm going to listen to that stuff, and everything kind of, because it's all, like I said, it's all facets of you, right? When
I think you're right. Yeah,
I was pop, then I went to classical and opera. And when I came to Mexico, I only had 30 odd backing tracks of classical crossover music. So, and I was in the middle, outside a restaurant, singing Nessun Dorma. And someone came up to me at the same time and go, do you know any Whitney? And I was like, while I'm singing Pavarotti, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, dance with somebody.
I do actually.
I had 1,000 tracks that I can choose from that I sing. I sing 4 nights and 1 day a week, and I sing. So I probably sing about 300 or 400 songs a week. And because I've been doing it for so long, I get bored of listening to myself sometimes. So I like to change it up. So, and I sing in 4 different languages, and I like to play. I don't sing Pavarotti how I'm going to sing Dua Lipa, and I don't sing The Doors the same as I'm going to sing Celine Dion. Do you know what I mean? It's like I will have to play on my voice.
Yeah,
but going back to what you said about the incognito thing. I remember back in the days, I think it was like early 2000s, I think. And when I think it was Kiss FM were just kind of R&B and garage and all this kind of stuff. And there was a song that the artist was unknown, an R&B track, and it was fucking brilliant. It was such a beautiful vocal. It was really, really great. The artist was unknown. It was never revealed. About 6-7 months later, it came out. This went to like number 3 in the Kiss chart or something like that. I mean, it was like really, really liked. Came out a few months later. It was Cliff Richard.
Yes, The Dark Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
And he did it exactly because of that. He didn't want to be judged for his age and his, you know, his background. He just wanted to put it out. But in fairness, there was probably quite a good PR machine.
Oh, of course.
Behind, you know, not, you know, to sort of at least push it and get it seen, heard by people.
No doubt.
Yeah, I remember that. It was good for him.
Yeah, and his vocal is smooth. So I think now, like I said, I think post-COVID, where we've realised, like, kind of, you know, the severe fragility of our industry, that now you can be what you want to be. I think it's a time of kind of celebration artistically now. A friend of mine is in the Canadian tenors, and he wanted to, you know, he just wanted to go over to London when it all finished and work in, I can't remember what studio, really famous studio, my brain's gone blank, and recorded The Winner Takes It All by ABBA with the London Philharmonic. I mean, it was just like he didn't have to do Italian arias and stuff like that. He was doing by ABBA. I want to just ask you about your future. You've told us what you're doing now. Holistically, I think it's amazing. I love what you're doing, and long may you reign, sister. And I love how that you're actually still celebrating what you've done, as well as bringing forward new music. And I recorded my last studio album, was about 10 years ago now, but it's called Hold On To Me. But it's actually, I was a self-made born again Christian back in the day when I was struggling with my spirituality and where I wanted to be and what path I wanted to be on. And I loved the music. I loved gospel. I loved the message behind it. I loved how it could people and heal people and move people. And
I love hymns. I love church.
I still listen to like Amy Grant and the Winans. I mean, that's still my biggest playlist. I'm not Christian at all, but I still love the energy, the healing and the blessing energy that's in the music. And I wanted to write a gospel album that was not religious on any way, shape or form, but it was actually positive. So I'd written some songs. One was called The Light, one was called Discover the Gift, one was called Divine Lullaby, and all this kind of stuff. And it was really magical to be able to have a really good message within my music, and that's what I love about what you're doing now. Human being human, we're going to play at the end of the show. It's just, you know, I love what you're doing, and long may you reign. But what does the future hold? Possibly a collaboration with Jaden Cornelious, but apart from that,
I'm feeling that. Well, I sort of just got this crowdfunder that's coming to the end now. So there's that to get the album finished. But I mean, new music. The last single's just out, not long ago. That's the third. So keep releasing the music. The fifth one's going to be a bit of a surprise, to say the least. No one will expect it. I didn't expect. I was shocked when I wrote it. I was really angry. And my producer, when I said, he's like, what the hell? Where's this come from? But I love it. I'm presenting the Ultimate 80s show, the Ultimate 80s radio, a show on that, Vix Mix, which I'm loving doing. Love presenting the radio show, so that's fun. Yeah, I think more of the same. I think, it's difficult because I care for my mum as well, who lives with us, who has dementia. So I've got to juggle that as well. And I've got a teenage daughter, and family life and everything else as well. So there's a lot of juggling. Yeah. And my mum's health and well-being always comes first. So sometimes I think I've got a great plan for this or that. And then mum's not well and mum needs looking after. And, and so that's it. Family first, mum's first. Yeah. So it's hard. But I'm just, I just try and look at it positively and, make the best of the situation, really.
I just want to ask a personal question, and you don't have to answer me. Obviously, you are really amazing at helping others to find the light within their day and within their life. Do you have anyone that helps you?
My family are good, and I have to say my hubby is great. Yeah. He will step in and help me. Other than that, I think it's probably I've got some good people around me, people I work with and for, lots of beautiful souls, good people that you can lean on. I deal with a lot of stuff myself, try and take some of my own advice, I need a bit of time in my little Happy Life Zen. I need to spend a bit of time gardening. I need to go and walk my dog. I need to do some, Reiki. And so I try and do a lot of that kind of thing myself as well. And I work at a place called Mystique, which is a psychic wellbeing centre. And there's always people you can go to there.
I wish I was in. We would so be friends. Like, we'd be.
I know. Well, if you ever come over again, you're very welcome to come.
I'm blood, yeah. But I'd be hanging out in Mystique with you, to be fair.
Yes, I know.
You catch me there.
Yeah.
Mate, now, I normally ask my super special guests, where can people find you on social media? But I'm not going to ask you because you have so much. I'm just going to let everyone know that in the comment, in the title page of this episode of the Jaden Show, you will find a plethora of social media platforms where you can find the amazing Vix everywhere. So please, before you finish your cup of tea, your cheese sandwich and your packet of skips, make sure that you go and check the links on the title page of this episode and go and follow this young lady, support her, love her. Make sure she's got your support because she's busy supporting lots of other people. So go do that before you finish a bag of skips.
That would be lovely, yes.
Where is your music available? Because you've got Fuzzbox, Buzzfox, and other stuff. Where can people get that? That's the only way I want to ask.
It's all the usual places, actually. Things like, the Fuzzbox stuff, a lot of it is kind of through Cherry Red Records and Amazon or whatever as well. But yeah, Spotify, SoundCloud, Alexa. Yeah.
What about happylife.uk? Can people find, is that about your holistic stuff or is that your music as well?
Just the holistic, but it is Happy Life Wellbeing and Music, so I do a lot of music things with it, but it's not my pop starry bits.
Okay. But it still needs to be checked out, quite frankly.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thank you. I do online sessions, of course, as well and stuff.
Great. I'm so chuffed that you've spent time. I know your schedule is crazy busy, so I'm super grateful and super chuffed that you've taken time out of it, especially with our time difference as well, to come and have some time with me.
Yeah, thank you. What time's it there then?
It's quite early. It's coming up to probably midday, so it's about 8 o'clock at night for you, I think.
It's 7 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, have some tea.
I do it at this time because my dogs are the quietest. They've been fed. The neighbours aren't around. I live on the side of a mountain where there's no one. My nearest neighbour is probably a 15-minute walk. But there's people that have got chickens and turkeys up the road and they bit later. So this is where there's no disruption. So, but yeah, thank you so much. You're wonderful.
Thank you for having me. I'm really glad we managed to hook up.
Absolutely. And we'll be in touch anyway. So you're good lass.
Likewise. Yes, that'd be really nice. Thank you. And thanks everybody for tuning in and listening.
You love her. Go and follow her. Vix, I'll see you soon.
See you, darlings. Bye. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Vix, thank you so very much for being an amazing guest on the Jaden Show this week. And you beautiful people at home, thank you for allowing us into your private sanctum, your living room, your bedroom, wherever you are sitting watching this show. Thank you so much for giving us time to spend with you this Sunday as well. I hope you have subscribed. I hope you go and check Vix out on all of her social media platforms. I hope you go and find her music on all of her streaming and download platforms as well. While you're there, come and check me out on mine. Please make sure you share. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you subscribe and get everyone on the planet that you know to do the same. Please leave comments. Please leave questions. Thank you so much for being part of the Jaden Show experience this Sunday. I will see you with another super special guest next Sunday as well, but I'm not leaving you. Just because you've had 2 tracks already doesn't mean to say you're not getting any music at the end. Of course, we have to have music at the end. It wouldn't be the Jaden Show without it. So I'm leaving you with Buzzfox. It's not easy to get my head around that sometimes. I'm leaving you with Vix, her Buzzfox project, Human Being Human. You're going to love it. I'll see you next week on the Jaden Show. Stay beautiful. Take care. Ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.